Here's Johnny. You're gonna need a bigger boat. So serious.
I am Iron Man.
This is a tasty burger.
Welcome to the In Session Film Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Chasing the Gold. I am Shadan Larkey, once again reunited with my beloved Erica Richards. I'm like bouncing in my seat, so excited to record with you right now.
I know, I'm excited to see your face.
I know. As I told you, Erica, before we started recording, you are not allowed to travel anymore.
Yeah.
For my sake.
I know. But I told you, like, you were always, I'm at your disposal at all times. So wherever I am in the globe.
Erica, I do have a very important question that I wanted to ask you, which is, You went to London for work. Your previous trip to London, I asked you, I said, did you have any a good London tea experience? And you said that was one of the things that you didn't get to do during your last trip. So did you get some good London tea?
Okay, so here's the thing. The last trip I went on was like June 2024. I did so much while I was there. Literally did everything I could possibly do in London. Like, I'm talking, like, we went to Stonehenge, we went to Harry Potter, we went to Windsor Castle, we did Westminster Abbey. Like, I'm telling you, we did everything. And like a proper high tea was the only thing I didn't do. This time it was such a quick trip. Like, I got in on Wednesday. I had work meetings like all day Thursday, all day Friday. And then I went to visit a friend who lives there now Saturday. We went to see a show, which I'll tell you about that. And then had a nice dinner. And then I had to fly back Sunday. So I didn't have time again. So I still haven't had like a proper English, like high tea. So I guess I just have to go back to London.
I know. I think you just have to go back and take me with you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, in addition to your travels, the breakdown for this episode of Chasing the Gold, we're going to start by updating everyone on the awards race as it stands. And then we're just going to talk about what we've seen, because I know you are doing lots of Oscar catch-up. I'm doing lots of Oscar catch-up and sort of, I don't know, engaging with pop culture in the world as best as we can right now. Yeah. So let's start with the Directors Guild, which announced their winners on February 7th. And Paul Thomas Anderson, Erica, took the big prize, his third nomination for One Battle After Another, his first win.
Oh, first win? Really?
First win, indeed. And given that we are in our Olympics era, I wrote down some stats. Okay, so 18 of the last DGA winners have gone on to win the Best Directing Oscar. And in the history of the DGA, I think of the last 50 years, only 8 winners have not won the Oscar. And of those 8 that did not win the Oscar after winning DGA, 3 people weren't even nominated for the Oscar to begin with. Famously, Ben Affleck was one of those that ended up winning DGA and didn't get an Oscar nomination for Argo. So all of this to say, the odds are very much in PTA's favor to finally win the Best Director Oscar in March.
I guess I just feel like in my head he's won before, but I guess he hasn't, you know?
And I think that's the problem, because he's on 14 Oscar nominations without a win, and I think people just think that he won. And so that's probably why he hasn't won before, or, the timing wasn't right.
Right. He's such a prominent director and like name in that director title. I just feel like he's so well known, and in my head I'm like, oh yeah, he's won before, but I couldn't tell you like for what, but in my head I'm like, oh, he's had to have won, you know?
No, still no gold, but I think that's very much changing. I think he's going to end up with 3. I think he's getting picture, director, and adapted screenplay in March. But I do want to touch on that because, am I going to be betting against One Battle After Another? No, but I still think there's a likelihood. I mean, I'm predicting that Sinners is going to win SAG Ensemble March 1st. Mm-hmm. So there's a world where Sinners wins SAG Ensemble and wins the Producers Guild, PGA, and then we're really in for like a nail biter in March. Like, we could see a split between picture and director. I don't think it's over. Again, would I bet money on that? No, I think One Battle After Another is going to end up winning picture, but we still have like 6 weeks of podcast content here. So I'm going to keep hope alive for a more interesting race.
So you think it's definitely between One Battle After Another and Sinners and not HAMNET?
Because I know you finally have seen HAMNET, so we'll get to HAMNET in a second. But I think outside of Jessie Buckley, I think Jessie Buckley is going to be the torchbearer for HAMNET, which is unfortunate because I would have given HAMNET adapted screenplay personally, but I think One Battle is going to take adapted and most likely.
What's it adapted from? Like, what is?
It's a. Is it a Pynchon? Is that it's a Pynchon novel. It's a very loose adaptation though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like inspired by, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
In terms of DGA though, so Paul Thomas Anderson was widely predicted to win the Best Director for a feature film, and he did win. The surprises came when Charlie Pullinger won for The Plague in the first-time director category over Eva Victor for Sorry Baby and Harry Lighton for Pillion. So that was a big, I don't want to say head scratcher, but definitely not what I was predicting. I figured the love for Eva Victor would carry her through for the first-time director prize. So congrats.
Sorry, I have seen Sorry Baby and I loved it. It's so good.
Sorry Baby. Oh no, I loved it. It's on Max. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's widely available now. Highly recommend. And I've seen this sentiment from a couple other people, and I just want to echo because I had the same experience of like I put off watching it because I thought it was going to be really heavy and difficult. And I don't mean it's like there's some sort of heavier subject matter. I don't mean to make light of that, but it's still like I don't want to like a joy to watch. I felt, you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like a slog watching it or heavy afterwards.
Right. Which brings me to say, like, I feel like it's a really interesting take on such heavy material. Like, I don't want to say matter of fact, but it's just interesting the way she deals with this. It might, I think, be way more relatable to people that maybe know someone or have gone through the same thing in their life. Just like the way she approaches dealing with it. I don't know. I don't want to. I like feel like I'm tiptoeing around because I don't want to spoil anything for people that haven't seen it. But yes, agreed. It's very. What's the right way to describe it? Because it's not funny, but there's like some dry humor in the way she's dealing with and like having it play out on screen, which I think is more easily consumable for people. If that makes sense.
It felt very real to me. And like inevitably, whenever you're in a dark moment, even at a funeral, there's moments of levity or comedy that might arise. And I feel like that's where the comedy in the film comes from. So yeah, it definitely felt very like true to life of like, this is, you know, how somebody might behave in the aftermath of trauma, of that specific trauma. So yeah, Sorry Baby, again, streaming on HBO Max and highly recommend. So yeah, really disappointed to see that she didn't get that first time director prize.
I know. Did you see The Plague?
I haven't seen that. I had to be honest, it has not been on my radar. I know it's also nominated at the Indie Spirits for several things, but I haven't gotten around to that one. Last thing that I wanted to mention in terms of DGA is the Best Documentary directing prize. I was really hoping that Geeta Gandahir would win for The Perfect Neighbor so that we could just wrap up that Oscar and be done with it. But actually, this was the other shocker of the night, which is that 2,000 Meters to Andrivka won for Best Documentary, which would be great, except for the fact that 2,000 Meters is not nominated at the Oscars. Now, the director did previously win for 20 Days in Mariupol, so he's a two-time DGA winner now, and he has an Oscar, so good for him. But yeah, The Perfect Neighbor and Cutting Through Rocks were the two Oscar nominees that were at DGA, and neither of them won. So I'm tempted. I'm still gonna go with The Perfect Neighbor.
Yeah.
Gita Gendler is also nominated for documentary short, so I think having 2 nominations works in her favor. But really surprising that they were like didn't go with The Perfect Neighbor, which seems to be the documentary that's been picking up the most prizes.
Yeah, and like just has the most talk around it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and The Perfect Neighbor also available on Netflix. So easy to access. And The Devil is Busy, which is the documentary short that she's also nominated for, is on Netflix as well. So if you want some good documentary viewing.
Yeah, I would remember like waiting for The Perfect Neighbor to come out and like watching it the day that it hit Netflix. So definitely one that I would recommend everyone watches. You know, it's one of those.
And a devastating watch. It really got to me.
Oh, yeah. Talk about hard watches. It's a hard watch, but a necessary watch, I feel like.
Yeah. And then I think in terms of just the race, I feel like I'm making my way through the Oscar shorts. And Erica, I just have to say, so this is like the 3rd year that I've really made an effort. I'm going to see every single nominee. Yeah. And I'm really enjoying the process, and I don't want to discourage anyone from seeing the shorts because I think they're beautiful and they deserve attention. But man, some of them are really, really rough, just in terms of like the subject matter, and they feel very heavy. Or not heavy is not the right word, but they tug at you, and you know, you don't think, because you're like, oh, it's only 20 minutes. How much could a 20-minute short like wreck me? And the answer is quite a bit.
I feel like all of the shorts that I have seen over the years have always been way more intense than a lot of other things, just because I feel like you have to tell such a meaningful story with a beginning, middle, and end that like they just go really hard. I will never forget, and I hope you remember this one. I will never forget a few years ago, there was a short, and it was these kids like playing, and they were in this like construction area or something. And maybe not, it wasn't even construction. They just went into this area they weren't supposed to be in, and literally one of them got sucked up by quicksand. And it was, do you remember this?
No, I feel like I remember you telling me about it, but I don't think I've seen it.
I will never forget watching that. I was also in the theater because I was doing like where they show all the shorts, you know, collectively. And I just remember being like, I need to step out. Like it was so intense. But yeah, I feel like all the shorts are like that, because I also feel like there probably is so many that they have to be like really, like they have to hit hard and be memorable to get a nomination, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a good point. All the Empty Rooms, which I think is going to win the documentary short category, is also on Netflix. Beautiful short, beautifully done. Devastating. It's about parents who've lost their children to gun violence at school. And also all 5 of the animated shorts are now on YouTube. There's a fantastic article on the website from our new writer sort of predicting who's going to win there. But those shorts, the animated shorts in general, are not my favorite this year. I think there's been stronger ones in previous years, but Forever Green on YouTube, it's like 10 minutes long. It's beautiful. That one really got to me. And then A Friend of Dorothy, which is a live action short, that's the most recent one that I watched today, is about a grandmother who strikes up a friendship, and that one got me. So they just I've just been crying at these shorts.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I need to, you know what? This is a great place too to plug the article that has everything, you know, where you can watch everything and where you can find everything.
Yes, I did work very hard on that article, so I have been updating it regularly. So if you want the latest of where to watch everything, I do have an article on In Session Film. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You also just became available on HBO Max. So
oh my God, we'll talk about that.
Slowly but surely, everything is trickling out. Well, Erica, let's talk. So, as I mentioned, I know you've been catching up on some stuff. I've been catching up on some stuff. I'm getting tongue-tied in my excitement to discuss these with you. But okay, so where do you want to start? HAMNET?
Yeah, we can start with HAMNET. that was also something that I did while I was in London. I mentioned earlier that I got to see a friend while I was there and stay with her. And she knows I'm a film person and she has seen HAMNET. And so we're at dinner and she's like, okay, we need to talk about HAMNET. And I was like, I haven't seen it yet. And she's like, what? How? Oh my God. And I was like, well, look, I said, when it first was released, back home here, it was barely in the theater that I go to. It was like maybe in it for 2.5, 3 weeks. And I just couldn't get there at that time. And it was like, then it was like, it was only showing during the day. And like, I just couldn't get there. So then I've been waiting for it to like come back to theaters because it's now nominated for Best Picture because I wanted to see it on the big screen. And she's like, let's just go tonight. And I'm like, say less, find a theater that we can go to that's playing, that it's playing at. And it ripped my heart out. And it was lovely and beautiful. And yeah, it ripped my heart out. But I knew that going into it, so I was at least like a little prepared. But very emotional film. Jessie Buckley, incredible. Like she has to win the Oscar. I loved it, but and you know what? It's weirdly like I will watch it again, but it's still so devastating that like usually when I watch a film like that makes me that way, like I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever watch this again, but I know that I will watch HAMNET again, if that makes sense.
And I will say it's really rewarding to rewatch because you pick up on a lot of the quieter moments and details when you rewatch it.
Right.
I do have a dorky question, which is like, how was the movie theater going experience in London? Did you notice anything different? Are there like different snacks, like a different vibe?
Well, I'm very spoiled at the theater that I go to regularly, like really nice recliner seats. Like the Dolby Theater has that I go to has heated recliner seats, like just very spoiled. This theater was not that. It was like normal, like not, what am I even saying? Stadium seating. It was like all, flat. And it was crowded theater. So we sat like in the very back corner, which was fine. Like I'm fine with that. It did feel like a very different experience going to the movies there. This was also like a little tiny like picture house, which was really cute, but it was like all redone on the inside too. So like very modernized, but it was like an old picture house or whatever. So I don't know if that also was part of the experience. We had just had a huge dinner right before we went to the theater, so like I wasn't getting popcorn or anything, but the woman next to me had popcorn and it was like in a cute little like, how here at home it's like in buckets or like bags, like this was like a proper little like popcorn container thing, you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh, I need a Diet Coke because I need to stay awake again. Like I was kind of still jet lagged and stuff, whatever, and it was late. First of all, they had Pepsi, which big no-no for me, and a paper straw, which just honestly, the paper straw and the paper cup by the time the movie was over had like completely like fallen apart in my cup holder. Shadan's laughing at me, everyone. But and I only drank like half of it. It was just, yeah, I can't speak to any other snacks or things that were available. But I will say something that I love about London is in like the theater, like musicals, plays, there's always ice cream, which I love. Like that's always really fun to me. Have you been to London?
I have. It's been almost 10 years since I went, which I can't believe.
Yeah. So we saw I'll just plug this really quick too. We saw The Mousetrap. Have you heard of this?
Okay, I have to tell you, Erica, that during your trip to London, 2 other people that I'm like very close to also happen to be in London at the same time, and they also, both of these groups of people also went to see The Mousetrap. So it was like a very strange coincidence.
Wait, that's bizarre. Wait, do you know what day they went?
I think they were back by the time but like it was like very close to your trip because my friend was like, yeah, we saw the mousetrap, and I was like, wait, my friend saw that. It was so weird.
Yeah,
So yeah, what did you think of it?
It's so fun. It's such a very British, very adorable, like Agatha Christie whodunit mystery, which I love. That's like so up my alley. And I'll say, like, it's really cute because at the end they do this whole thing where they're like, please keep like the long-standing tradition of not telling people the ending, you know, blah blah blah. And I just love I love theater, but I love that this is like the longest running play in the world. It's been running for like 74 years or whatever.
Wow.
And I just love being able to like see a play. You know, like when we were deciding what to do, I was like, oh, we should like go see a show on Saturday. And she's like, yeah. And like we were talking about, she's like, oh, Hercules is out. She's like, oh, too bad Cynthia Erivo's like one woman Dracula isn't playing right now. Like that would be amazing if you were here. We could go see that. And then I was like, how do you feel about a play? Just because like I love a musical, and musicals are always like touring here locally, and there's so much more available at, you know, to see a musical. So like I feel like seeing a play is just so rare. So like I love just being able to see like an old school play. It was so fun. But yeah, it was a really good time. How did we get on that? I don't know.
Well, I do have to tell you, I have play tickets and musical theater tickets, so I'm all my money goes to
Why are you
tickets. There's a play called English, which won the Pulitzer Prize a couple years ago. It's about these people in like a Farsi class. So I'm super excited for that. And then I'm going to see Hadestown tomorrow. I'm so excited for Hadestown. I've been wanting to see it like, since it was on Broadway, and I've never gotten the chance. So
that's very awesome. Excited. It's touring here. I think it's coming to the Hippodrome soon. So
what was I gonna ask? Okay, so in terms of Hamnet, though, are you devastated now by the Paul Mescal Oscar snub, or can you live with it?
I can live with it. I think he's great. I mean, I like him overall, like, period. So, like, I'm a fan of his, but it's really not his film, right? Like, now that I've seen it, I'm like, okay, like, he's gone, air quotes, for a lot of the film. I feel like it really is. Jessie Buckley is the lead. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I can live with it. I mean, I think he's great. I think he'll have his time. I just don't think it was for this.
Well, let me ask you this, because you've now seen Hamnet, One Battle, Sinners, Marty Supreme, and Frankenstein, which in terms of our winners are going to be the majority, because Frankenstein's going to take most of the crafts, and then you have, most of the other prizes are going to go between those films. So how do you feel about that?
Just overall, you mean? Like,
yeah, like how the chips are being divided and how the chips are falling, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I still think like, yeah, because I've thought a lot. Can I tell you what I think? What I've been thinking a lot about is the Timmy Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Leo, One Battle After Another of it all, and like I love Leo, and I think he's so good in One Battle After Another. And I'm feeling sad because I don't think he's gonna win, and I think he should. I'm just gonna say it.
No, I completely agree with you. I think Timmy Chalamet is going to win, but I want Leo to win. To me, Leonardo DiCaprio is like the kind of caliber of actor who should have 2 Oscars. And to me, One Battle After Another is everything that he does well in one movie, because the comedy is brilliant, the drama is brilliant.
Yes.
And I think I really like Timothée Chalamet's performance. I don't know. I don't think he needs an Oscar right now. And I think Leonardo just gives a better performance, in my opinion. I think Leonardo's performance is one that I have come back to a lot. And there's little things that I'm discovering upon rewatches.
Yeah.
I liked Marty. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I have rewatched Marty Supreme, and I still enjoyed it. One Battle to me is just so much stronger. And genuinely one of the reasons why I love One Battle After Another so much is because of Leonardo DiCaprio, because I don't think there are many other actors who could have handled the balance that he does.
1,000%. Yes.
It kind of makes me sad. I feel like he's not. This is so silly because he's Leonardo DiCaprio, but he's not getting the credit that he deserves for kind of holding that film together.
Right. And like, so we've been doing some rewatches, right, of like Leonardo DiCaprio stuff. So we rewatched The Wolf of Wall Street, which I've seen a number of times. And I'm also like looking at that film, like, how did he not win an Oscar for this? And then we look and we're like, oh, it was what's his face for Lincoln? Not what's his face. People are going to be mad at me.
Daniel Day-Lewis, only one of the greatest actors of all time. For those of you who are listening and not watching, so far we've had Erica miming her cup falling apart in London, and also calling Daniel Day-Lewis what's his face.
You know what I'm talking about. And I love Daniel Day-Lewis, but I'm gonna admit I love Leo more. Okay, and I just look at like, yes, Daniel Day-Lewis winning for Lincoln, that makes sense. But oh my God, Leo in Wolf of Wall Street is just. It like doesn't get better than that. But I do think if it gets better than that, it's One Battle After Another, and he should win for this. You know what I mean? And Marty Supreme, like, yes, Timmy's very good in it. And he, I think, also carries that whole film too, right? Like, he's the one pushing all of it forward. But I just think Leo's better. And I think he should win, but I don't think he's going to, which is unfortunate. Because, like, that's the thing with Leo, right? Is, like, he could have potentially won for everything he's ever been nominated for. And the fact that he's won for, why am I, like, forgetting everything?
The Revenant.
Thank you, The Revenant. It's just so, like, that's not what he's going to be remembered for. He's going to be remembered for Wolf of Wall Street, freaking Titanic, let's be real.
Which he wasn't even nominated for.
I know, it's criminal. And then even One Battle After Another, right? Like, he should win. This is a Leo podcast now.
Well, dare I say, I think Leonardo's actually in third. I think if anyone's going to upset Timmy, it might be Wagner Moura, who's very, very good in The Secret Agent. I just unfortunately don't love The Secret Agent as much as I wanted to, but that's another podcast for another day.
That's another. So I will tell you, in catching up in my Oscar watching, that The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value are still the two that I haven't seen. Is Sentimental Value streaming on like Hulu? Someone mentioned, or Peacock?
If it is, it's like as of a couple days. I don't think so. Last time I checked,
okay.
I don't think
Somebody said it, and I was like, I don't know about that.
Well, Erica, what did you think of If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You?
Oh my God, Shadan. Like, what a ride of a film. Like, it is so, like, I think I don't know if I said this to you. I think I might have said this to you. I feel like I was watching a modern day version of The Exorcist. Like, I feel like I was watching a woman like go mad because her child is literally the devil. It was so anxiety inducing. It was so uncomfortable. I feel like the camera work and editing need to be studied for this film because of how just incredibly anxious and uncomfortable it makes you. I've never been more proud to be an aunt and not a mother. Just so many thoughts about this film, right? Like, it's one of those things that you watch and you feel like you ran a marathon afterwards. Like, just, it absolutely takes you hold and beats you up for like an hour and a half and then lets you go.
Well, I told you when I saw it at TIFF, like, it made me feel sick. It made me feel sick, and I like regretted watching it. And I guess I don't regret watching it, but it's one of those films where, no disrespect to Rose Byrne and the filmmaker and all that, but I have no desire to ever experience. Like, it made me so.
I think if you rewatch this, you are a special kind of psychopath, because I never want to experience that again. Shadan's laughing at me again, everyone. But truly, like, I would never watch this film again if I didn't have to. And Tyler watched it with me, and at the end, I think he was like, well, I didn't like that at all. I was like, yeah, that was rough. It literally is like nails on a chalkboard for an hour and a half.
Well, speaking of, you mentioned, the editing. I think the sound, there's something about the way the sound is designed to get under your skin. That's what made me feel like have like a visceral reaction to it, was the way the sound is like, it feels like something's like crawling inside your body.
Yeah. If I could kick the film, I would. I'd get the title now. You know what I mean? But yes, Rose Byrne, incredible, like truly deserving of the nomination that she has. I think she's great anyway. So like, and I'm so used to seeing her in like not a role like this. So it was interesting to see her in a role like this. And she handled it really well. But yeah, oh my God, talk about a nerve-wracking film. Like it just, and yeah, if you're watching, you're seeing me grab my face in all of the ways while we're talking about this, because like you said, you just feel like it's crawling at you.
Can I tell you an anecdote real quick? Because you mentioned Tyler not liking it. When I go to film festivals, I become very extroverted. So I was like at TIFF waiting for the movie to start, and I struck up a conversation with the girl next to me, and her boyfriend had bought her a ticket to see it. And like TIFF tickets are very expensive if you're not lucky enough to have a so her boyfriend had surprised her with a ticket to see this movie, and she was so excited, and she had gotten all dressed up. And by the end, she was like, why did he buy me a ticket for this? Like, she was so upset, not upset in like a bad way, but she was so like bothered that she was like, I can't believe
that is such a choice to buy a ticket to that film. But maybe like that was the only one you could get. And like,
well, I think people didn't know. And I felt so guilty, like during my TIFF podcast, like telling you how, because I don't want to discourage people from seeing it. That's why it's so tricky, because it's like, it is such a well-made film, and Rose Byrne is incredible. It's just like, I feel like you really have to know what you're getting yourself into, because it's
like,
so
I would not recommend this film to like an average movie watcher. Like, you have to be someone who watches things for like the art of it, right? So like, this is definitely one of those films, and I feel like like you're not just like stumbling on this and watching it, or if you are, you're turning it off after the first 5 minutes. I would, and I agree with you, it's hard because we sound so discouraging right now, but like there's so many films I've watched over the course of like my film life, right, that I'm like, oh, that was, and I always think too, like me and you talking about this film so passionately and it making us feel so many feelings, like when's the last time you watched a film that made you feel feelings like this? So I think there's something to be said for it in that way. But the way I see it is like, unless you're like, you enjoy the study of cinema, like don't watch this film. Like it's a lot.
All right, I want to get into spoilers very quickly. So if you haven't seen it, skip ahead just, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes. But I saw a theory, Erica. We're getting into spoiler territory here, kind of, that there's a possibility that the daughter may not be real. Do you think that that's...
Tyler said that.
Okay, tell me more about this.
Well, Tyler said that when we were watching it, and I just was like, I mean... Is it just because it's like the sixth sense of it all, right? Like the way it's filmed, and like you don't really see her, or like you think you see her, but you don't, like that. But I also, I see where people are theorizing that, but I don't think that. I think like that she's real. And
yeah, I don't think so either. I get I get it. I think it's a fun theory, but I don't think there's actually like, I don't know. Well, I just don't buy it.
Yeah, I think when you're watching a film like this, it's like, what is the wow factor, the payoff at the end? Like, what is going to be the end game here with a film like this? And I think that's why people are like theorizing that, because it's like, it would make more sense, or not even make more sense, but like maybe it's more believable that Rose Byrne's character is insane and has cultured up this thing in her head, rather than this child's just a nightmare and putting her through actual hell, you know? So
Yeah, but I didn't take it as insanity. I just took it as like she's like very stressed. Like it didn't reach the level of like she's seeing things that aren't real to me.
Agreed, exactly. Which is why I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the case.
And
But
ultimately, like if
like, I love
the kid isn't real, it doesn't change the film, or like it doesn't change what they're trying to say. I guess like
Right.
what would it add if that was the truth?
Right, and that's why I think I'm like, no, I think the purpose of the film is that like being a mother is really hard, and like being like the one holding your family together and holding your household together and holding your marriage together. Like I just think it's like life as a woman is really hell sometimes. Sorry, I beat that. But it's true. It's true. It's true. Like that was like my nightmare. You know what I mean?
Well, also the husband was terrible. So I was like, okay, so basically I can never get married or have children. So
yeah, no, an actual nightmare. So, and I kept thinking like, oh my God, she is so patient. Like I would never be that patient with a child like that. But that's why I'm not a mother. Like there's no other way to say it.
That's very true. Well, one other film that I caught up with that I had a similar thing to is The Ugly Stepsister, which is a French film that got nominated for Best Hair and Makeup. And I had seen clips of it, but I never like watched the whole thing. And basically the premise is like it's Cinderella, but what if the stepsisters are sort of the heroines and Cinderella really is like, not a nice person.
Oh,
but it's a lot of body horror, and body horror is just not for me. And so that's another thing where it's like I don't want to discourage people from seeing it because it's so well made. And I admire the craft of it so much. And it's such an inspired, cool nomination of like, wow, these voters really are paying attention. But oh man, it was like gross. It was really.
Is it streaming? How did you watch it?
Yeah, it's on Hulu/Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys like period stuff and body horror stuff, I totally understand there's a love for that subgenre. I get it, but not for me. It, again, made me sick to my stomach. I'm having such a visceral reaction to all these films. I don't know what's happening.
I think that's a credit to how well they're made. I think anytime a film can make you feel something that isn't just like, yeah, I watched a movie. There's something to be said for that, you know?
Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think 2025 is one of the strongest years I can think of. If F1 is like the weakest film, actually, well, F1 is not the weakest film of the Oscar crop. But if that's our weakest Best Picture nominee, then that's pretty good in my opinion.
Right. I do want to tell you too, before I forget, that I watched Blue Moon on the plane coming back from London. It was interesting. I don't think I liked it, which is weird. Like it felt, what did it feel like? It felt uncomfortable, but in a different way than how we've been talking. It's just like someone who's like completely self-aware, but not aware of himself at all is what it felt like. I love Ethan Hawke. Like he's one of my favorites. And I thought he was good in this, but I just did not like his character.
I need to watch it again because I don't know if I was like festival brain, brain dead. But as I told you, I fell asleep. So I feel like I didn't give the movie a fair shot. But I didn't connect to it. And it's so crazy because it's Richard Linklater, but I couldn't.
I know. On the plane, I fell asleep watching it probably 20 minutes maybe. And I woke up and I was like, ooh, whoops, I fell asleep for a little bit. And then I didn't even feel like I had to go back and rewind. I was just like, whatever, And that says a lot, I think, because on the plane ride there from here to London, the headphones that they gave us to plug into the screen did not they were not compatible, which was really annoying because I was really annoyed because I wanted to watch Hocus Pocus. So I essentially watched, which I've seen 1,000 times, And then I watched Hocus Pocus and Gone Girl with subtitles because those are two of my favorite films, and those were two of the films available. And I had no sound, and I just watched them with subtitles, and I did not fall asleep. And that tells you two films that I could recite on my own. Shadan's laughing at me again. But yeah, I think that tells you something, you know.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. I guess I'm glad you had a good silent film viewing experience.
I
on the
did.
plane.
I was just like, I was not tired at all, and all I wanted to do was sleep. And I just felt like, and then it was like, I also like, I wanted to read, but like, I didn't want to like turn my like light on because the woman next to me was like having such a good sleep. I'm so jealous of her. And because like, I would have read if I could have, like, so I was like, well, I just have to watch the screen. And then I watched 2 episodes of The Pit with subtitles too. Like, what? Like, what? But I needed content. Like, I needed something.
Wow.
So,
Well, speaking
yeah.
of content, 2 other films that I caught up with, they were having an Iranian film festival at the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston.
Oh, awesome.
So I went and saw Cutting Through Rocks, which is nominated for Best Documentary at the Oscars this year. It's about this councilwoman. She's the first female councilwoman either in her area or in the whole country. I can't remember, but it's basically her trying to push norms and bring some, level of progressiveness and work against the Islamic regime. So I thought it was really, really interesting. And do I think it's going to win documentary? No, but I'm glad to see it nominated. And I thought it was a good watch. And I'm using this as an opportunity. Kenny and I, when we did our podcast about the BAFTAs, we mentioned this. I want to mention it again. Some of the best places to watch the Oscar nominees are at your local arts museum. They have a lot of different screenings. They do the shorts. So it's a good way to support the community and get to watch some of these films in addition to your local indie. But I'd actually never gone to a museum film screening before. So that was cool. And I got to, geek out with my fellow Persians and make the most of my fine arts membership. So if anyone from the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston is listening, I've been a very loyal patron to that museum as of late.
I love it.
Then,
that's really cool.
And that was a very good piece of content. And as you know, Erica, another piece of content that I watched, I don't know if I talked about it on the pod, I may have, but Song Sung Blue. Oh my God. Have you seen it?
No. Is it streaming right now?
I don't think so. Not yet. I watched it on Screener. As I told you in the voice note that I very passionately sent you, I was very sick when I was not feeling well at all. And there were multiple times that I had to like stop and rewind to make sure that the thing that happened actually happened and I wasn't just sick. Like it was, I couldn't believe. I really thought I was hallucinating. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't wait for it to be over. It was.
I remember seeing previews for it multiple times in the theater when I was going to see other films, right? And I remember thinking, like, this seems like an SNL skit. Like, it seems like a joke.
Yeah, I have 5 movies left total that I haven't seen yet. And this, so I can say pretty confidently, this is the weakest film that I've seen nominated for an Oscar in a long time. And if you want a really controversial opinion, I think it's even weaker than something like Amelia Perez, because at least something like Amelia Perez it's not a good film, but it's trying to push some sort of boundary. It's trying to do something new. Song Sung Blue is like, it's not doing anything. Like I've seen 1,000 of these sort of uplifting films done way better than this. If you want a good example, I think the Brendan Fraser Rental Family is like a great, uplifting family story done way better than Song Sung Blue. A horrible experience. It made me so upset. Like I was angry. I was like, I can't believe I watched this. And I had a screener for it. Quite frankly, I didn't even pay for it. I can't imagine if I had paid for this movie. I don't even know what that would have done to me. Now, I will say that I think Kate Hudson in general is incredible. I think she should have gotten an Oscar nomination for How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So am I mad that she has 2 Oscar nominations to her name? No. Is it any disrespect to her as an actress? No. Not agree.
Well,
I mean,
well,
I'm happy
and
for her, I guess, but
Well, and I think this is also just like a chance for you again to say that it's a crime that The Testament of Anne Lee was not nominated. I have been seeing previews for that, and that's going to come out in theaters soon here, so I'm really excited for that. So yeah, it's hard also when you're comparing, and it's like, how did she end up with the nomination? Is it just because she's such a famous name? Like, I don't know.
well, it's also hard. I mean, because I've seen a lot of people comparing like Rose Byrne and Jessie Buckley and putting one down to uplift the other, which I completely don't agree with. But it's like when you watch both of those films, you totally understand the craft and like what went into the performance. And like, you know, Kate Hudson, she's singing, there's a lot that happens, but it's just they're not anywhere near it's so strange, like truly one of the biggest head scratchers for me in recent memory.
Film and filmmaking, right? It's like it doesn't match up, right? Like that's how I see it, at least, and I haven't even seen the film, but that's in my head.
Yeah, because again, I'm just gonna repeat myself. I have no problem with like a feel-good story. I'm not saying every film even has to be like a high art, you know, something like If I Had Legs, I'd Take You. That's like weird. Like I'm totally fine with just a classic story well told, but this didn't even do that. So I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here. But Erica, before we transition, because there's something pop culture that we need to talk about, but in terms of books, I mean, in terms of film, I just spoiled it. But in terms of film, is there anything else that you've seen recently that you wanted to talk about? Oscars or otherwise?
I know, I'm trying to think, and I wanted to reference my letterbox, but if I pull it up right now, it's gonna disconnect my sound apparently. I'm trying to think of what else I've seen that's part of like the big nominations. It was HAMNET and then something else that was a nomination that I caught up with. I don't know. It'll come to me.
All right, well, if it comes to you, let me know. But I do want to talk about Wuthering Heights, because have you finished the book yet?
I have not finished the book, and that's what I wanted to talk about too, is because did you read this in high school?
No, I read it. I finished it Friday, and it was the first time I ever read it.
Okay. I'm trying to remember if I read it in high school. I know that it was one of the books maybe in like, was it 10th grade, like AP English or something? I don't know, but I remember it being like, I remember it from high school, if that makes sense. It is a tough read. It is not. I was looking at it and I'm like, I was in high school reading this, or like other people I was in school with in high school were reading this. Like, what? Like, it is not an easy read.
No.
And obviously, like, we know going into it, it is not the movie is not going to be like the book, right? Like, Emerald Fennell has like come out very loudly and said that. So I am interested to see what her adaptation of it is going to be like, and she has said that like this is, you know, in her head, the story in her head that she imagined. So I'm really interested to see it, but yeah, not an easy read. I'm like,
no.
I would say I'm like 100 pages in maybe, and it's like a little over 3. So I still have a good amount to read.
But I think you're right about the 10th grade thing, because I think I bought it because it was like one of the books that you should read for the AP exam, and I never did.
Yeah.
But so I've had a copy of it for, I don't even know, 15 years now. Okay, I will say I'm happy that I read it, and I think the ending is very good. I don't regret the time that I spent on it, but especially the beginning. I was like, the first, I don't even know, 8 chapters, I'm like, this is, what are we even doing? It wasn't what I was expecting at all. And I will say, go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, for those of you, obviously you're listening to this podcast, I highly recommend Book Right, which is an incredible book podcast that I've been listening to for years. It's a network of podcasts. They have a podcast called Zero to Well Read, where they dive into classics. And so their most recent episode is about Wuthering Heights. And these are people who have taught English, have advanced degrees in English, have been in the book world for years. They're just brilliant people. And during this episode of Wuthering Heights, that's what they're talking about, of like, it's such a difficult read and they were confused and it was hard to follow. So I felt so vindicated because I was like, oh, I'm not dumb. It's like the structure of the book that's the problem.
Well, that's why I sent you that Instagram video that I found that was like, if you're trying to read Wuthering Heights before the movie, like, don't feel crazy because it's all over the place. It also, like, there's some like the one character who like talks really weird with that like Yorkshire accent or whatever, and it's like written out that way, and like it's like, don't get caught up in that. Like that character kind of goes away after a little while. So it's like you said, it's like also having that warning that like the beginning is rough, like don't give up on it, like helped me get through the beginning. But I'm not that far past the beginning right now, so I'm ready for it to pick up.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to discourage anyone from reading it, but I did not enjoy the process of reading it. Am I glad that I read it? Yeah, because it gave me a lot to think about. And I'm very much looking forward to diving into those themes with you because there's a lot to discuss. But the actual, like, it was a slog to read, and it put me to sleep at least 10. Like, the reason why it took me so long to read was because it just put me to sleep.
Right.
So,
right. Well, and that I appreciate it too in that Instagram post I sent you, that it was like the way to read this is to read small chunks at a time. So okay, on this day, read these chapters on this, it very much felt like homework. And it really, that is what this book feels like. It's homework. But I am glad I'm reading it. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep reading it and hopefully finish before I go to see the film this weekend. Also, like, we were talking about this before we started recording, but you were talking about a book that I actually sent to you, and how it like rejuvenated you, because we all go through reading slumps, right? And I've been trying to be really good about sticking to like my reading like consistency this year, and it's hard because I just really want to start my next book, and I'm like telling myself like, you can't start your next book because if you don't finish Wuthering Heights and you start your next book, you're never going to finish Wuthering Heights. So I'm trying to get through this because I have a craving to read other things that I can't let myself get to yet. So Atmosphere, I'm coming for you. I'm going to read Atmosphere after this. So I'm using that to motivate me that I can't pick up Atmosphere until I'm done Wuthering Heights. So.
Well, I do want to say too, in terms of chasing the gold, like I had my eye on Wuthering Heights for like possibly costumes and production design, but a lot of early reviews are saying that the costume design is like distracting. I've heard the word tacky thrown around. We'll come back and discuss once we've seen it, but I'm very like, I don't know how to feel, and I don't want to give anything away because there's a lot that's been written in reviews that's like out there if you want to dive in more before you see the film, but it's definitely a very loose adaptation. We'll have more to say on Wuthering Heights. But the book that Erica sent to me, for those of you who have been following the podcast for a while, the book got lost in the mail. We had a whole like prayer circle to get this book to me in Houston. First time caller, like a really, really delightful, fluffy rom-com that I enjoyed so much. And so if I have any words of wisdom to pass along, if you are in a reading slump, like don't use Wuthering Heights to get out of it. Read something that you want to read that feels light and breezy. Or I love plays, short stories, like anything that's quick to finish will definitely like help you perk up again. Wuthering Heights is not that book, unfortunately.
Right. Sometimes also, I don't know if you ever do this. I'm interested to see if you do this. Sometimes when I'm struggling with a book, I'll go to the audiobook for a little while just to try to like get into it a little bit more, and then I'll go back to reading it. So I don't know if you ever do that, but sometimes that works for me too.
I have done that, and I will say with Wuthering Heights, I started the audiobook because the one on Audible is narrated by Joanne Froggatt, and I'm a big Downton Abbey super fan. So I thought that having her read to me in her lovely British accent would help, and it did not. Once the plot picked up, I actually like started reading it, but audio in any format, the beginning of that book is just not a pleasant experience. And that's what I guess my warning is, like, I guess I thought that because I didn't know much about it, I thought it was like similar to Jane Eyre or like romantic in a traditional sense. It is not that. Like this book has been falsely advertised for however long it's been out. It's not what you're expecting at all.
Right.
I was shocked. Like it was not.
It's very
again,
dark.
not to say it's not. Yeah, it's not. I don't mean that in a bad sense. It's just weird to me that it's like not what I thought it was at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to finish it. I'm excited for the film. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Margot Robbie. So yeah, I'm excited. When are you planning to see it?
I don't know. I might go this weekend. I don't know. I'm trying to do I just go by myself? Should I make like a friend date out of it? I don't know. We shall see.
I'm planning to go with hopefully a couple of my girlfriends. So after we both see it, we'll definitely.
Yeah, planning is not my strong suit. I think no. Anything else, Erica, that we should dive into, discuss before we close it out?
I think you have an important announcement to make.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, so personal whatever. Yeah.
I'm putting her on the spot. Yeah.
I am now an expert on Gold Derby, and I know for kids nowadays it's like cringe to be excited about things, but I'm very excited. I've been in Gold Derby since I was in high school. I've told this story many, many times, but I became obsessed with the Oscars when I was like a little, I don't know, 3 or 4, the Roberto Benigni year. I just thought, him crawling over people's heads was like the most magical thing I'd ever seen. And the Oscars just meant so much to me, to my mom. So I've just been obsessed with the Oscars. And when I was in high school, I don't know, I just realized like there was a whole world of Oscar predicting out there. And I thought it was so interesting. And I would go on a Gold Derby and I would look at their experts, and they were all like based in New York and LA. And it just felt like something that was so far away and out of reach for me in my little Houston suburb. So to me, one of them, it really does mean a lot to me, and it's very special, and I'm very excited about it. And yeah, so you can see all of my Oscar predictions on Gold Derby in addition to In Session Film. And I have Emmy predictions and all kinds of stuff there. But I'm very, very excited to be in this club of experts, and very proud and excited and honored to represent In Session Film there. So
yes, and I'm very proud of you, and everyone I'm sure that is listening is very proud of you. Everyone else at In Session is very proud of you. You work so hard on these, and you put so much like time and thought and effort, and just to also for you to know that hasn't gone unnoticed is like an accomplishment in itself. So super, super excited and happy for you. Shadan sent me the link. And I thought she was just sending it to like, catch up on things before we podcast. And I like gave her the thumbs up, and then she's like, no, Erica, click on the link. So it was a nice, lovely surprise. And I just,
I was like, Erica, look at it.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I did click on it. I was like doing other stuff. I was like working and doing other stuff, and I did click on it. But then like when you were like, no, click on it and read it. And I'm thinking I did click on it, and I'm like going. And like you and I were talking about this, like the website was being kind of wonky, and like I kept scrolling through, and I'm like, I must be looking for her name on here. And I kept scrolling through, and I'm like, I don't see it. What does she want me to see? And then I refreshed the page, and then you were there. So it was really exciting. It was like nice
so you got 2 surprises because I just popped up in your face.
It was a nice little reveal. Very cinematic reveal.
Yeah, cinematic. So I'm officially a Gold Derby expert, and you can see my predictions there. And I am a big Olympics nut, so I will be watching the Olympics and trying to catch up on the rest of the short films. As I said, I've been petering them out because I need a break. But what are you going to be up to, Erica, other than trying to make your way through Wuthering Heights?
Yeah, trying to finish Wuthering Heights. I like really want to finish it before I go to the movie, like really, really. So I need to like buckle down. But trying to watch as many Oscar films that I haven't seen yet. That's why I'm like I said, referencing that list, that it's such a good resource of like where you can watch things that you haven't seen, where they're streaming and all of that good stuff. And yeah, also watching the Olympics. I love the Olympics too. I love the figure skating. I'll watch it all. So yeah, loving the Olympics right now. And yeah, that's kind of it. Excited for Wuthering Heights, like we talked about. Oh, and I also am probably going to go see that Crime 101 movie that's coming out. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I need to see Send Help, the new Sam Raimi film with Rachel
Oh,
McAdams.
yeah,
I really
yeah,
want to see that.
Oh, funny story. One of my coworkers, Rachel McAdams, was on her flight from here to London when I was there a couple weeks ago. And it was so funny because she was like, oh yeah, some like famous actress was on my flight. And we all were like, who? And she like couldn't remember. And then the next day, like in the middle of one of our meetings, she was like, wait, it was the woman from The Notebook. And I was like, Rachel McAdams? And she's like,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
I'm like, oh my God, I love her. So that's funny. But yeah, I want to see that too. I was trying to stay away. Have you seen reviews? Is it getting good reviews? I've been
it's getting like really good reviews.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay. Because I've been trying to like kind of stay away from everything to not be like, swayed one way or the other. But yeah, that's on my list too. I think I saw one review on Letterboxd that was just like another film to add in the good for her category, which I thought was funny. So that made me at least want to, I'm like, oh, this must be a fun watch, if nothing else. So,
well, Erica, plug your Letterboxd because I know you've been diligent about it in 2026. Keeping up with it.
I love Letterboxd. I try to really, it's a personal thing just so that I can be like, have I watched this film and when did I watch it? So yeah, at eRock Reviews on Letterboxd, also on Twitter, which I feel like I never tweet anymore. But yeah, you can follow me there. What about you, Shadan?
I am at Shadan Larkey all over everywhere. And I would just encourage you guys, like I said, lots of great content on the site from an entire slew of really, really talented writers that are working very hard. Both in terms of chasing the gold and also just film reviews. There's so much content that goes into in-session film every single day. So please give us your attention there. Subscribe to us on YouTube. As I mentioned, Erica is very theatrical host. So if you want a good viewing companion to your listening experience, highly recommend subscribing to us on YouTube. Please rate and review us anywhere that you are listening to the podcast. The reviews really help bolster us and make sure that we show up in people's algorithms. So any and all support you can give us would just mean the world, because we're the little engine that could, and been chugging along for like a decade. JD has been at it, but
wow,
really grateful to be here and really grateful to have the platform and really grateful that you are back in the United States so that I can send you voice messages a day and update you on everything that's happening.
Yes. Like I said, I'm always at your disposal, Shadan. You can always reach me anywhere, anytime, any day.
Well, and you can always reach us. We're always, reading comments and available for feedback. So I'm not as nice as Erica, but I do, I will. I do love engaging with everybody. But okay, that's a wrap for us. If you've hung in with us for an hour and 4 minutes, thank you. I have some Olympics speed skating to watch, and Erica is trying to make her way through an English classic. So that's a wrap for Chasing the Gold. We will see you next time, and thank you so much for watching and listening.